Should you use Bollinger Bands to enter or exit a trade to find areas of support and resistance? Hi, I'm Lance Breitstein, 8-figure P&L per year trader with over $100 million in verified profits and mentored hundreds of 6, 7, and 8-figure P&L per year traders. And I've used Bollinger Bands for over 15 years in my Wall Street career. I'm going to tell you what they are, how I use them, and show you tons of examples so that you can apply them to your trading. Bollinger Bands are a versatile tool and truthfully, pretty much the main indicator I use on my intraday and daily chart. Developed by John Bollinger in the 1980s, these bands consist of 3 lines: a central moving average, typically the 20-period simple moving average, and 2 standard deviation lines plotted above and below the moving average. From the outset, I want to make it explicitly clear that I do not use Bollinger Bands as exact levels, meaning I am never buying the break above a Bollinger Band or using a Bollinger Band as a price target or anything else along those lines. Pardon the pun. I find that the Bollinger Bands prove useful in 3 major ways. The first is the Pendulum Concept. Much like a pendulum or a rubber band, stocks without fresh news can often exhibit strong mean reversion characteristics. In other words, when things go too far too fast in either direction, that rubber band tends to snap back towards the equilibrium. I'll go so far as to say that the further a stock is stretched in one direction, the higher the probability of a successful reversal and the greater in magnitude that reversal is likely to be. But always remember, just because a stock is stretching in one direction doesn't mean it can't always go further. During my time as a prop trader, we always had a saying, crazy can always get crazier. And economist John Maynard Keynes said it best: the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. However, because Bollinger Bands show standard deviations versus the equilibrium price, you can execute some interesting plays based on a stock going from steady strong to very weak, or steady weak to very strong. Now, because the bands show a price 2 standard deviations away, the second way I use Bollinger Bands is as a basic measure of overextension. A stock can be considered overextended if, when trending, price ends up accelerating to be above or below the Bollinger Bands. In my many years of experience, the absolute best capitulation plays tend to have price meaningfully extended below or above the Bollinger Bands after already trending and being extended in a direction. Keep in mind, this is just one measure of overextension I consider when judging whether or not a trade is worth taking. That is something we'll dive into in a separate video, as there is a lot of subject matter on that topic. Nuance and experience always matter. For example, think about if a stock has been consolidating tightly for a while. If the price range has been very tight, that doesn't mean that at an upper band the stock is overextended. Context matters. In fact, Bollinger Bands during periods of consolidation help us in an entirely different way. The third way I use Bollinger Bands is they help us measure volatility contraction and get a feel for if we are in the dreaded no man's land. No man's land happens when bands narrow significantly, suggesting a period of low volatility and often a precursor of a period when consolidation is needed. Often, Bollinger Bands contract after a period of big expansion. That, coupled with the stock being inside the overall range, can be an indicator we have taken a step into no man's land. And real quick, I've noticed that over 50% of you watching this video aren't subscribed. And the biggest way you can support me and my team is by clicking that subscribe button. Okay, back to the old Bollinger Bands. When Bollinger Bands are contracting, I often won't look to take any trades within the range without proper consolidation. These types of nuances help me avoid a lot of losses that other people might otherwise take. All of that sounds great in theory, but I know what you all want. Practical examples so you can see how these apply in the real world. I don't know if we can call trading the real world because I think of it all as a video game, but work with me here, people. Let me first show you how Bollinger Bands can be used as a measure of the pendulum concept. Take this daily chart of Palantir. One of my best trades of 2025 was buying Palantir on August 20th. The reasoning behind it was this: the stock gapped up on earnings on August 5th and was steadily strong above the upper Bollinger Band. Note that the bars weren't accelerating higher, and being above the upper Bollinger alone doesn't lead me to short or be bearish. We do, though, end up selling off and then quickly accelerate lower towards that lower Bollinger Band. Now, context is key here. This stock was steadily strong and uptrending, which leads to upward angled Bollinger Bands. We then went from steady strong above the bands, in other words, If we were to think of the pendulum as being -10 peak panic, 0 is equilibrium, and +10 is peak euphoria, we were a steady, strong +6 or so. In a matter of a few days, we melt all the way to the lower Bollinger Band in what I would describe as sentiment resembling -8 or so. In fact, in the final 2 days, the stock lost almost 20% in value despite being a large established company. To summarize, we went from +6 steady strong on the sentiment pendulum all the way to -8 bearish panic in a matter of days. Even better, want to know how I timed my entry on the intraday? I used the 20-period moving average, that middle line from my Bollinger Bands, to time an entry because the stock had been using the moving average as resistance, and then that break of the moving average I viewed as a break of the trend lower. For more on how I use and apply moving averages, check out this video. It's worth emphasizing again that Bollinger Bands were just one tool. I was also factoring in the capitulatory volume that occurred that day, tons of nuances involving the intraday pattern to time my entry, and it is a confluence of these systems and indicators that lead to successful trading. Now for an example on how I use Bollinger Bands to gauge overextension. Take this chart of UAMY. This stock was exploding higher and peaked on October 14th, 2025, which not so coincidentally also had capitulatory volume that day, which can be used as an indicator that a top might be in. Because the stock had already been trending higher, I would consider all of the preceding days spent above the upper Bollinger Band as overextended. This also shows how important it is to integrate other concepts into your trading rather than just blindly buy or sell using Bollinger Bands in some overly simplified method. To have edge, we need to apply a mix of strategies and concepts. In this example, one could structure a daily short swing trade by waiting for the trend to reverse, or what I call the right side of the V, and shorting when we break prior bar lows on the daily chart. Using a simple system with a stop of prior daily bar highs, you would end up making over $3 in profit, and this is exactly the type of trade that I love to make. It's worth illustrating in this chart of IonQ though that context matters. When a stock has been consolidating and then we're just breaking out of the range, because of the contracting Bollinger Bands, we easily can end up above that upper Bollinger Band. As price moves out of the range, the Bollinger Bands will expand as well. It is only in trending markets with expanding Bollinger Bands that I tend to use them as a gauge of overextendedness. So this IonQ example, I would not consider overextended as it breaks out of the range. This final example shows what happens when Bollinger Bands are contracting and what I consider no man's land. On November 21st, 2024, MSTR had an amazing short opportunity when it had an exhaustion gap higher that ended up collapsing far lower. However, in the weeks that followed, the Bollinger Bands ended up contracting while MSTR was in the middle of the daily range. This is even evidenced by how prices are just oscillating around that moving average. During periods like this, I will often avoid trading the stock, or at the minimum, sizing any trades far less than I did during the huge opportunity that came prior. Many argue against certain trading indicators, but I've found that the Bollinger Bands provide a great visual representation of price and volatility that the naked eye otherwise couldn't remotely achieve as effectively. For that reason alone, Bollinger Bands are essential to my trading in addition to all of the benefits just mentioned. Bollinger Bands will never give you the exact entry or exit, but they will be a useful tool that can help improve your system of trading. Want more case studies and examples? Then consider checking out my trading course. If free is a better option, I'll be covering a bunch of other indicators, so hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more.